So you searched all over New York and finally found your dream home. You've toured the property, gotten that perfect feeling, and well, you just know. Now comes the next step, making an offer. Easy, right? Unfortunately, it's often anything but. Between potential bidding wars and tough contract negotiations, the offer stage can be the most stressful part of the home buying process. But fear not. In this episode of StreetEasy Home School, we'll discuss the many strategies you can use to make a winning offer on your dream home. I'm Carlo Romero, and welcome back to StreetEasy Home School. Here's what we'll cover today. Whether to work with a buyer's agent, the basic steps involved in making an offer, what sellers are looking for in buyers, and finally, the winning strategies you can use for making offers. Let's start with whether to use a buyer's agent. Although it is possible for experienced buyers to go it alone, working with a buyer's agent is perhaps the most important step buyers can take toward a winning offer. A buyer's agent provides expert guidance, representation, and negotiation know-how, serving as your trusted advisor throughout the entire process. Buyer's agents have experience navigating the complexities of the New York real estate market, and they'll be with you every step of the way. If you're not sure how to find a buyer's agent, reach out to our complimentary StreetEasy concierge at the link in the video description. Let's turn now to the basic steps involved in making an offer. Once you've decided to make an offer on a home, you'll first need to choose, you guessed it, how much money to offer. If you're working with a buyer's agent, they'll help you pick the amount, which should take into account your budget, the competition on the home, the seller's likelihood of discounting the price, how long the home has been on the market, plus prices of comparable homes. Next, you'll need to think through how much cash to pay up front in your offer, otherwise known as a down payment. While 20% is the standard down payment required for most homes in New York City, a larger down payment can make your offer more attractive to the seller. After this, you should decide which contingencies to include in your offer. Contingencies are items that must be met for the home transaction to proceed and can include a home inspection, appraisal, and final loan approval. Then it's time to actually write and submit the offer. If you're working with a buyer's agent, they'll handle this for you. Finally, once the offer letter is submitted, sellers will review the offer, then either accept it, make a counteroffer, or reject the offer. Okay, now let's discuss what sellers are looking for in potential buyers. As you might have suspected, sellers are usually concerned first and foremost with the offer price. After this, sellers are looking at the down payment amount or whether the offer is entirely in cash. Sellers also want to be confident that the home transaction will close on time. Thus, sellers want buyers who seem organized, communicative, and committed. Often you'll hear the phrase, is the buyer ready, willing, and able? Sellers may also be looking for certain terms in the deal, such as a quick close, if they've already moved, or have a concurrent purchase to time this with. Conversely, sellers may actually want a long close, if they need extra time to pack and move. It's worth noting that for co-ops, buyers will almost certainly need extra financial liquidity post-closing to gain co-op board approval. Although each board is different, a conservative post-closing requirement for co-op boards in New York City is usually at least 24 months of cash or equivalents to cover mortgage and maintenance payments. If you're making an offer on a co-op, this may inform your highest offer amount in order to keep more money on hand post-closing. It also means that sellers are looking for a buyer who can pass the board. With all this in mind, there are several strategies buyers can use to set their offers apart. A quick note that these are just general guidelines and each negotiation is specific to your situation. First, buyers should be as prepared as possible going into the offer stage. You should do your homework on the property, including how long it's been on the market. You should also run comps on similar homes that recently sold to find out if the home is at, above, or below market value. For apartments, the best comps will be units in the same building, ideally in the same line, which you can search for on StreetEasy. Next, buyers should act fast. The earlier your offer is in, the better your chances are at making a good impression before another potential buyer does. Demonstrating financial stability is also important. You could consider increasing your down payment or even offering above the asking price if this is within your budget. Next, You might consult with your buyer's agent about possibly waiving some contingencies in your offer letter. Depending on your needs, you could leave out requests for repairs, the seller paying closing costs, or an inspection. In general, a cleaner offer is going to stand out more to sellers. But beware, waiving any contingencies can be risky, since they're included as protections for the buyer during the transaction. It's also crucial to maintain good communication throughout the process. If you're using a buyer's agent, consider having them call the seller's agent to find out what terms they're looking for, as well as what's important to them. On these calls, your agent can also try to find out how open the seller might be to negotiation. Ultimately, making a winning offer on a home is about being prepared. It takes knowing what you want, doing your homework, and having a trusted team around you to help. Check off those items, and you'll be one step closer to collecting the keys to your dream home. For additional information about the home buying process in New York or working with a buyer's agent, visit our blog, which is linked below. We look forward to helping you unlock life's next chapter. Thanks for watching.